Okay, we're obviously running a little bit late, so let's get this session going. So grab a seat, grab a business card of the person that you're having a conversation with, grab a phone number, and make sure you follow up with them after we walk out of here. So let's keep this moving.
Come get in this.
So across West Virginia, funding models are a thing, and nonprofits are a thing, and in terms of creating media agencies that do good things, do good work, hire good people, train good people, it's always a challenge as to how you pay for that and how you make it effective in your community. And so when I learn about an organization down in Eastern Kentucky called Mountain Tech Media, I realized that you can imagine some really innovative and different ways to fund and support this sort of work. Mountain Tech Media, Jeremy is about to tell the story about it. Mountain Tech Media is a great example of how some committed, passionate, and innovative people did some great stuff in a part of the world that is doing it tough, just like West Virginia. And so I'm hoping that we can all learn from some of the great things they've been able to do. So Jeremy, do you want to introduce yourself and your crew, and then tell us about Mountain Tech Media?
Yeah. Can everybody on here? Good.
I don't think so. But I'm good. And that's all.
There? Okay. So, no, still. We're going to go with this one. So what Jake was saying, Mountain Tech Media, we are a for-profit tech and design company based in Whitesburg, Kentucky. And I want to tell a little bit about, my name is Jeremy McQueen. I'm one of the co-founders and the CEO of the company. And with us today, we have 4 of our Upload Appalachia film series interns. So we have Jason here, who's going to float around, do some video stuff. Stacy here, Austin, Chanel, and these are all young media makers in our region in East Kentucky, and so they range in age from 18 to 22. And we'll talk more about the Upload Appalachia film series in a moment, but we also have Izzy over here who's doing photography, and Izzy's our Chief Technology Officer, and they'll be roaming around doing stuff while we're doing this. So a little bit about us. We are a tech and design company based in the mountains, but we're special in a few different ways. I guess that we've been told we're special because we've not found any other people that are exactly like us. We are a creative cooperative, so everyone in our company, on our team, owns a piece of our company. So we are very equity-based amongst our member owners. We're also co-founded by a nonprofit in the region. So many of you may know Appleshop. It's been around making media since 1969, based in Whitesburg, and they're a co-founder. And so, yeah, I would say we do a little bit of everything. Well, a little bit of a lot of things. We do web design, motion graphics, animation, video production, of course, and now we just come out with our first web app for one of our clients. So these are some of the things that we love. And I guess that's a good place to stop and kind of give you a little bit of a video that we just came out with that Izzy just finished a little while ago. We've had kind of this promo series since we started, and this idea of this company was kind of born 2 years ago. Actually, we're right at the 2-year anniversary, I guess, from the first time that all the co-founders sat down. And we've been doing, I guess, contracts and projects for clients for about 18 months. So from the very beginning, we had these video series we wanted to produce about ourselves to let people know, how cool we are, I guess. So we started with this series, addressing, the what if question. If this company could exist and what it would look like in the mountains, bringing all these independent professionals together in this creative cooperative to offer them equity in a company where they're doing exactly what they love to do. So the first video was this what if question, and then we went with, what's next? And this series, the most recent video that Izzy just finished is called Why Now? And this is kind of part one of that video because we're kind of highlighting all of our member owners that are doing different projects for us in different parts of the Appalachian region, right? And so this is part one we're going to show, and then we'll kind of answer some questions and get into the Upload Appalachia film series, and that's that kind of stuff. Here we go.
Working for Mountain Tech is really nice for me because it streamlines the whole process so that I can spend most of my time working instead of chasing client down for information or for drafts or for money. I can just use my time most efficiently to get the job done.
I know there's so many great organizations in this region that have lots of really great ideas, and they're thinking about new ways to sort of get those ideas out there, to do the work that they've always been doing, and to be able to collaborate with them on those stories would be just so exciting, because there's some really exciting work going on up there.
By the local community having this tech company that's doing all this cool stuff, it's inspiring to say, like, I can do this, but it's not just about them being working in tech. It's about, hey, I can open up anything I want to do. I can go off and be a craftsman. I can go into the medical field. Mountain Tech, it can show the various doors that are open. And I think that's beautiful.
Yeah, so that's kind of some of our team members right now that are we kind of want to highlight them with this series that we're about to release. So that's the first one of those videos. And these folks that are joining me up here today, like let's back up a little bit. Jeff's not here with us. He's one of the co-founders. I guess it's important to highlight that this, like all great ideas, I think, or good ideas, this kind of happened by accident, right? I knew at one point I was going to found a company, but I didn't know it was going to be when I was 30 years old. So Mountain Tech just kind of happened because Jeff, he spent like 10 years at Harvard and is a business school graduate from there, and he found another tech company in Boston and decided he wanted to leave Boston. Just so happens that he married a Kentucky girl. And so he sold his company and wanted to come down here. And through connections with Apple Shop, he found the right folks that put him in contact with myself. And we just kind of sat down and hashed out this plan 2 years ago. And we've kind of grown as we went along and figured out what things are really fun and what things we like doing and all those things that people on our team are very talented and can do, right? So one of those things is video production, of course. A lot of people that make different videos in our region, of course, being at Apple Shop, there are a lot of filmmakers that are there and have been doing films for a long time. And I guess about at some point last year, they put me in touch with this really cool foundation out in Colorado, and they wanted to help fund some socially engaging kind of projects across the country. And so I was the only rural fellow they chose. It's the Vocal Foundation based in Boulder, and my project design was to do this kind of 6-month-long film project where our team would choose 4 interns in the Central Appalachian region, and we would basically choose through our partnerships with different people 4 or 5 different companies/organizations that were doing socially inspiring work, right? Whether it's social entrepreneurship or community building kinds of efforts. And so through that fellowship, through the Vocal Foundation, we chose these great 4 folks to help us with this project. And then through our partnerships with folks like Masid and Apple Shop and different folks in the region, we chose the enterprises that we're going to do these films about. So you have any questions, Jake, that you want to lead us with? Or you want to jump right into?
I'm really interested in the funding model. So you do client work, like contract work, but you also have foundation support. Is that correct? Talk to me about, are you a non-profit? What's your...
No. Yeah. So legally, we're an LLC. We're a for-profit company, but we have this internal creative cooperative model that has a lot of internal equity amongst all of our members, right? Even Apple Shop, the nonprofit in our formation, legally has like 18% ownership in our company. So yeah, most of our revenue is generated from private companies who are contracting us to do videos for them, whether it's promotional work or whatever, digital design, content creation, web design projects, a lot of graphic design, illustration kinds of things. So yeah, at any given time we have probably 10 or so projects going on with a mix of private companies, nonprofits, and then this foundation project is the first time this has happened for us. So this entire 6-month project is funded by, the bulk of it is funded by the foundation, but also the organizations and businesses that we've chosen to highlight with the film series have also kicked in some money because, of course, these interns are getting a stipend for their work this summer. And so it's really been a collective effort. And even I would even say Kentucky tourism and the film union we have in Kentucky has helped us out with giving us incentives to, make these films happen in the state of Kentucky.
How does if there are people out there thinking of a similar collective approach, how does the equity model work? Like, is it future shares? Is it like their paycheck is different depending on how many clients you get that month? Like, what does that equity actually look like?
Good question. Yeah, I think that was the hardest thing for us to figure out at the beginning because Jeff will tell you if he's here and anywhere that you see him any day, he'll tell you that he was very resistant about the cooperative model, especially because he was the lead investor coming into this project. He was the one that moved from Boston and wanted to come to Kentucky and start this new company, and he was just looking for the right people to put around it and really do the groundwork because he couldn't commit the time to being fully invested on day-to-day stuff, right? So he was very resistant to the whole cooperative model. And so we had to go through, I would say our partners helped us out a lot with that. The folks at Apple Shop, the folks at MESAD, which is the Mountain Association for Community and Economic Development. They're kind of a development organization based in Berea, Kentucky. They helped us kind of figure that out. So they put us in front of different organizations and businesses that had done the co-op model. Still to this day, we've not been in the room with someone that's actually a tech or design co-op. Most co-ops we meet are based around food programs or restaurants or whatever. So yeah, figuring out that was a big piece to it. And yeah, we figured that right away that most people that we were going to bring on the team were not going to be people that wanted to shell out $4,000 to buy into this company. So it wasn't very important to us to offer a kind of invest equity as you go based on whatever project you choose to be on, right? And that's worked out pretty well for us.
So if it's all right with you guys, I'd like to hear from these guys. As I think the thread that runs through all of this is that Mountain Tech Media is essentially a vehicle that is letting smart, young, talented people stay in Eastern Kentucky. So I'd love to hear from you guys about what Mountain Tech Media has meant for you in terms of being able to follow your creative, ambitions and stay in the region. Start with Stacey and move down.
Yeah, of course. So I'm Stacey, and I'm the youngest one on this team. And they're also the most patient with me because if you would have asked me a year ago if I would have been doing an internship involving anything with a camera, I would have told you that you were insane and that I would not be doing that. But that is because I had not a whole lot of experience behind a camera. Whereas you have Jason, who is a mastermind, and these two are awesome, and I'm just kind of here to learn. But
what are you learning?
A lot about like editing and shooting at certain angles. That was the big grabber for me that I had to learn because now I don't just watch videos online just for enjoyment. I look at they shot at this angle, they used this piece of equipment to shoot that. So it's really interesting on how my perspective has changed. But also Mountain Tech for me has not only been developing new friendships and camera skills, but it's also been an opportunity to get my foot in the door because, I do want to go into politics, and I feel like a big part of politics is having, an online presence, and because social media is such a huge part of our generations today, whether we like it or not. So Mountain Tech for me is just a great opportunity, all in all, to develop so many new ways of life.
Cool. And do them where you live, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Austin.
Okay. Hello? Okay, there it is. So basically, Mountain Tech for me, like you said, close to where you live, right? Okay, I don't know if you count like an hour and 30 minutes close to where
That'll
you
do.
live.
That's close.
Yeah, I was going to say, well, like, it was the closest thing I could find. It was the only internship I'd ever seen even close to, like, remotely where I live. I live in Everett, Kentucky. Whitesburg is, like, about, like I said, an hour and 30 minutes away. So, like, it's still a bit of a travel, but it's definitely been worth it. Like, when I first started looking into film, I wanted to be like a filmmaker type, like not necessarily documentary, but like, you know, just like indie filmmaker. But like introducing like all the aspects I've learned from Mountain Tech, it's not only gave me skills, like if I wanted to be an indie filmmaker, like I've learned things I could take into just traditional filmmaking, but like just all the things I've learned from like the media aspect also. It's been amazing. Like, I didn't think I would ever have the skills I have today. Like, and I wouldn't if I wouldn't have, you know, gotten with Mountain Tech.
To follow that creative path that you're talking about, if there wasn't Mountain Tech Media, what would have been your plan B? Like, what was your other option?
Probably education, because teaching is like available everywhere. And I was a substitute teacher and like math tutor for about 6 to 7 months. And like I enjoy working with kids and all, but there's just like this creative freedom you get when you're behind a camera working with like even just media production or an indie film. Because when I looked a lot into education, but when you have a lesson plan and this core content, I don't like the educational system, how it is right now in the States. I highly disagree with it. I'm sorry if that like says anything to any teachers, but I highly disagree with it. So being able to do what I love and have the freedom to do it seemed a lot more interesting than the job security. Like, you know what I mean?
Beautiful. I like it. That's a brave decision. Chanel.
Oh, well, let's see. It's only been a couple of years since I've been kind of introduced to the really cool media and film scene happening in Eastern Kentucky. And I'm originally not from Eastern Kentucky. I'm from Southwestern Virginia. And I found out about Mountain Tech through being an alumni of Appalachian Media Institute in 2015. And through them, they further connected me to Mountain Tech. And before all of this, I had no idea that this was going on. I don't know how I spent like 20 years of my life having no idea what Apple Shop was when they've been such an important role in our region. Yeah, so just Mountain Tech is really important to me because it just showed me that there are jobs here. It's inspired me to stay, that there is work here, because so many people have told me to go other places, like that that's not possible. The rare jobs that are here. Well, I've had 2 paid internships in media in Appalachia, and that's kind of like awesome. So.
That's great. How many, and you know, for those of you who haven't been down to Whitesburg, it's really weird. Like, it's like a little mini media like community in the middle of like a coal area. It's really strange. And obviously Apple Shop is such an important part of that. How many people like this, Jeremy, young people wanting to stay in their state or their region and do things in media, has Mountain Tech Media been able to support or work with, you know, since you've been founded? What's been the impact?
Yeah, I think on our website we have a team of 9 that we keep that, you know, are constant contributors and are close to like full equity in our company, right, already, just an 18-month period because we've done so much work together. But I would say even the people that are not on the website, you know, 3 or 4 or 5 other folks that contribute, I would say semi-regularly, depending on what it is, music for a video or whatever, that just haven't been able to do more than that yet with us. But I think that in the area, in general, there's a lot of folks that want to stay in the area and do media making in some way, or work on apps, or work on websites, or whatever it is. It's just, I think it's like that's one of our missions, right? As a social enterprise, is to seek out those folks and to try to keep them in the region, and hopefully we can provide full time. My dream is that we'll continue to create jobs, and that as we grow as a company, I'll be able to offer every single worker member of our company right now that's just doing project work here and there. I'll be able to offer them a job, full-time employment. If they want to take it, great. If they don't, and they just want to continue to being an equity member and work on the projects they choose, then great. That's kind of the way we're approaching it right now.
So we had a lot of other stuff that we wanted to show from Mountain Tech, but we're way over, and I think the Reed College people are starting to get impatient. But just in a couple of words, mate, like what next for Mountain Tech? Like you guys are obviously ambitious and creative and have big plans. What's next for you guys?
Opening a new building in Corbin, Kentucky this summer. That's next. So we'll be opening our first space, design space, which will be open to the public. It's going to be like the first floor is going to be like retail for Pine Mountain Farms. So it's going to have some different stuff on the first floor for people to come in and shop and buy local. The middle mezzanine space of the building is going to be shared office space. So not only will we'll be there, but other folks in the community can rent space there as well. And then the top floor will be affordable housing, so a few apartments. So that's coming up this summer. Of course, finishing this series, producing 5 short films about good stuff happening in the Appalachian region. And then I would say, we'd like to. There are a lot of folks that are very interested in coding right now, and we have a couple of them on our team, and we'd like to start making more apps, right? The trouble with that is, of course, people funding that, right? You have to find people that want those apps, and we're finding that in Kentucky, it seems that tourism is the way to go. We're already working with 3 or 4 tourisms on pending projects that would lead to an app.
Okay, so this is app development around local and regional tourism.
Right.
Seems to be a kind of a hotspot at the moment, right? And how can people get in touch with you if they want to follow up and partner with you, learn more about you?
Yeah, of course. You can come up and talk to me right away after we're done here. But also our website. We try to make our website very accessible and just have everything very clean and very organized and easy to contact us, and we respond pretty quickly.
Cool. Awesome. Well, thank you, guys. Thank you to the Mountain Tech Media guys. Round of applause. And let's, we're almost there, but we've got a great session next, and this is the final session for News Story 2017, a local radio station that's just started up quite recently in Charleston, WTSQ, the status quo. I kind of want to ask you guys about the tagline. I'm intrigued. I'm assuming it's not the band. So let's move into that in a couple of minutes. So let's have a quick break and keep rolling. Thanks, guys. Thanks, man. Sorry we had to...
That's all right. It's all right. Get lost, Jake. You've been here too long.
See, if I hadn't been on this webpage at this time.
Oh my God.
Hey.
I saw you guys.
You're like...
Oh, Z?
I want to call it equals.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's just nice to see you guys. I'm
Right. 10 minutes.
Yeah. And I've always wanted to cruise through Whitesburg, but it's always been like so long. The way to get there. But
Whitesburg has an issue, I guess. We're going to just keep the space there, but
Yeah, you too, man. Thank you, Austin. Yeah, love to see. Good luck, Stacy. Hey, run, man, run. All right.
that's a big
Nelly done.
No one in school told me about that. No one in my college studying film told me about Apple Jobs.
Because I'm doing like communications and marketing now, and I see some.
Oh, your name's over here. No, it's Josh doesn't have a name.
I'm not really from there, so